Hello, hello, and welcome. Welcome on into the swear word. I'm your host, Brandon Swear, and hey, this is a podcast for the chili community, by the chili community. Regardless of your spice tolerance, this is the place for you. Up tonight, we have an amazing episode planned. We're going to be having one great guest on, a game planned, and of course, a product on Hot or Not. So, episode 147 starts now. What's going on, Swear Nation? So glad to have everyone here, whether you're tuning in on YouTube, Spotify, Rumble, or Apple Podcasts. Thank you so much for being here and making this podcast what it is. Continue to share this out with other like-minded chili heads or individuals that are curious about the world of hot. This is where you can find everything to do with the world of hot. Up tonight, we have Nicole of Sauce Boss Gang as our guest here tonight, as well as a Sauce Boss Gang hot sauce here featured on Hot or Not. So we'll be diving in and getting to know Nicole, how she got started, everything that's kind of transpired to get her where she is now and where she's headed. So looking forward to jumping on into that. As always, if you're on a platform that allows for a podcast review, please go ahead and leave a 5-star review. That helps the algorithm get us in front of more people that might be interested in the world of hot. But let's do this. Let's go ahead and jump on over to Hot or Not. Welcome on into Hot or Not. Up tonight, we have one sauce on deck. This is from Sauce Boss Gang. If this is your first time checking out Hot or Not or the podcast, do things a little bit different here. I don't do a 1 out of 10 scale. I do a 1 out of 5. That's really based off of 5 categories. Those categories are heat, aroma, flavor, versatility, burn. Add those up, average them out, and that gives us our total swear word rating. From that, I also don't like to read the ingredients at a time. I like to let my taste buds really go on that exploration and figure out what they are picking up. And that is where I'm able to kind of figure out, and we all learn together what's in the sauce. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and jump into the very first sauce. This is Liquid Gold. So as you can see there, nice overall, great visual pop going on this labeling. For those that are keeping track, yes, this does have a perforation on the cellophane. Beautiful aroma. Definitely picking up it smells like maybe habaneros, a little bit of fruity note, maybe a little bit of onion, but there's a nice sweet undertone throughout this. So it's like a savory note with a sweet undertone. So let's go ahead and get this one going. For the color on this sauce, it is a bright orange, beautiful flow on this. Nice hold. This is about a medium hold sauce here. Cheers. Oh, man. Oh, wow. That's magical. Fruity. You get this nice little sting attack on the tongue, on the roof and sides of the mouth. A nice sweet undertone, but a very savory complex, kind of like a notch above that sweetness. It's as if the flavor is encoded in the sweetness. And then the second that thin layer of sweet breaks, you get that nice savory depth, and then that sweet tone comes back in. And it is just this beautiful cascade of flavor going on there. Something that's a little bit herby or, I guess like almost an herby tone to this as well. But definitely picking up what tastes like maybe some habaneros going on there, possibly something else going on in there, because it's not just indicative of a habanero sting. There's also a different kind of like slightly more intense burn than what you would expect from a habanero in this. So a nice fruity tone that might be the source of the sweetness, because that fruity nature and that sweetness pair so well together in this, and the sweetness is not so overbearing in that sense. If you're just starting out, this one is going to be probably too hot for you. I mean, you could possibly work this in moderation. Working on your own personal best, this is going to be a nice medium heat sauce for you all day long. Easy go-to, grab, use, lather up. If you're at, pushing yourself to more extremes, you can go heavy with this one, still be able to enjoy it. It's got a great burn, got a great overall smooth, creamy texture. Versatility-wise, I can see myself using this thing on just about anything from like savory dishes such as like tacos, burgers, pizzas, sandwiches, salads. I can't think of anything from a dish standpoint that this wouldn't work well with. Now, if you didn't want a slight sweet or fruity note to your overall food, that would be the one thing to keep into consideration there. That sweet slash fruity undertone plus that heat also tells me the way that this sauce is designed, it could easily be added to a drink of your choosing, as well as this would be a great glaze or finishing sauce if you're, got chicken on the grill or what have you. Just base this on there. You're going to have a great time. Ingredients are mango chili peppers, which those chili peppers are, there we go, red Scotch bonnet and habanero, water, sugar, distilled vinegar, garlic, onion, salt, vanilla, and elderflower. All right, heat coming in at 3.2, aroma of a 4, a flavor of a 4.2, versatility of a 4.25, burn of a 3.7 for a total swear word rating of 3.87. There we go. Another amazing sauce. That one there is from Sauce Boss Gang Liquid Gold. If you'd like to pick up this sauce, I will have the direct link down below, as well as a link to the main site, so you can check out the full lineup of amazing products from Sauce Boss Gang. But let's do this. Let's go ahead and jump on over to tonight's interview. Hey, Nicole, how's it going?
Hey, great. How are you?
Doing good. Glad to have you here. Obviously, seen great things online, heard great things from others as well that have had Sauce Boss Gang sauces or your seasonings. And so just honored to have you here and learn more about Sauce Boss Gang.
Yeah, I'm really happy to be here. I always think that this is a fun setup and a really good way to get to know two different brands. Collaboration is always awesome.
Absolutely. Well, one thing I always like to lead off, it's the only, I guess, preset question on here is always first time getting to know someone. What got you into the world of hot? And then what was the moment that you decided, you know what, I'm going to start making my own spicy products?
Yeah, what got me into the world of hot, I would say a few different things. I mean, I'm half Italian, half Mexican, so I feel like it's in my DNA. But as far as like the business aspect, I actually entered the hot sauce industry from a store, like an actual personal evolution journey, not just, hey, I want to own a hot sauce company. It just kind of evolved into a hot sauce company. So it was like a passion project that became much more than that.
Very interesting. Okay,
It
okay.
is.
Well, I guess with the whole journey aspect
Yeah,
into that to kind of I guess dive a little into that
yeah.
more, the journey as you were getting into the I guess now what is Sauce Boss Gang, uh, did you just kind of start having inspiration derived from say food, or where did you start to
Yeah.
get that
So
inspiration?
I would say that in my previous professional life, I left my role. It was in product development, but a completely different industry. I left my role feeling really lost and empty and really not confident anymore. I was in senior leadership, and I found that my ideas were always used, and but I never got credit for them, and it was just a culture that I could no longer thrive in because I realized I totally lost myself, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah,
I've never been a person that wasn't confident, and I found myself second guessing almost everything, which so wasn't me. So I just completely lost myself, and I left that position and did some reflecting and always loved hot sauce. But I said, hey, I want to, this next company, I want to start something that is a movement, not so much a product. Um, and share my story of basically like crawling back from the ashes of
yeah,
self-doubt and rebuilding yourself. I mean, I think that's something we all can relate to at some point in our life. So
absolutely.
each thought, I just happened to do it through hot sauce because I love hot sauce, and it was a product that I felt I could get in front of people every single day and remind them of the confidence aspect that Sauce Boss Gang displays. So, long story short, each one of our hot sauces, to the flavor title, to the graphic, there's a chapter on the back of what that sauce represents. So when you line up my full collection, you're literally reading what I was overcoming at the first sauce I created to the last sauce, which is the liquid gold. So it's a whole evolution. Every single sauce means something. And when you line them up on the back, you're reading my full story to present day.
That's very cool. Very cool
Yeah.
element, and to be able to have, I guess, another depth of interaction. Like everyone always tries to figure out ways to make, obviously the sauces stand out first and foremost, but you're adding more than just the sauce itself. Now there's you're understanding a story. You're being able to connect the dots, and you're able to start to almost kind of build like a tether to your journey in that sense.
Yeah, I mean, our mission statement is to pour confidence into the world. So you can look at that figuratively and also from our story. And so it starts with sharing a story and wanting people to feel the realness of that and that there is another side to that. And then we just happen to make great hot sauce.
Yep. No, that's
So
awesome.
sometimes you find us because we make great hot sauce and then you learn the story and you like that. And oftentimes people find the story and then fall in love with the hot sauce. So it just depends, but both having great product and sharing our story is like the DNA of our brand.
Yeah. No, that's super cool to hear, and thank you so much for that because at the same time,
Yeah.
it's like far too often people just inherently as society want to like stray away from talking about things that were like rough patches or learning points or headaches through life, and ultimately it ends up setting up not only us to potentially repeat those things by ignoring them, but
Mhm.
also like it doesn't do a service for anyone else that might be able to learn from hearing about your pitfalls. So,
Right. And I think too, like, I'll ask you a question, like, who do you look up to that had a perfect life or had a perfect story?
uh, there's I think everybody has had a rough patch at some point.
Exactly.
It's the pressure and the learning that ends up crafting the not perfection, but the epitome of building towards it. So
And it's also like clearing that stigma to share the failures, not just the successes, to be real. And I think everybody that I admire that would be well known has put more emphasis on sharing their failures and what's at the other side and how to use them in a positive way.
yep.
And I just think we need more of that. So that was my whole goal because I mean, I was at rock bottom, feeling not so great and had no idea what was going to happen next.
Yeah. Well, and I mean that's that to I guess put it very open and out there as well as like, and I've kind of talked about it before. I mean, that's the whole reason why I ended up jumping out of the corporate side of life because first company I was at, once again rising up nice and fast, things were going great, and then it's just like I started to realize like the people that I would be filling their shoes are nowhere near, the chances of like them either moving up or retiring or anything like that. So it was kind of like you hit this wall, and then yeah, as you're saying, all of a sudden I start noticing, I had seen it before, but like I was still seeing progression, so I didn't really care. But once you hit
Yeah.
that wall, it's like you start seeing your ideas and things that you worked on be cannibalized into their own, someone else's, and yeah, it's very demoralizing. It makes
Mhm.
it to where you want to shut off your creativity, you want to shut off yourself, and I thought, okay, well, it's just this company, I'll go to the next one. So then I go
Mhm.
to another and try to basically do the same thing, put in my time, then I start rising up, and same thing.
Mhm.
It was just like that you can only do it for so long, and definitely with the way that life, I guess, just inherently is trending these days, with everyone so
Yeah.
focused on the shock, the awe, the grab factor.
Yeah.
um it's just like nobody really cares, it seems like, to for integrity, and integrity is like
I,
huge.
yes,
So
yes. I am with you on that integrity and just like waking up every day Sauce Boss Gang is my purpose. It's far beyond a product. So I always say we create products with purpose because that truly, I mean, it just wraps it up in a few words of what I do and what I envisioned. But if you don't have a purpose, you only get so far anyway.
Yep.
So, and I think we're conditioned to fear really finding out what our purpose is, and we're conditioned to fear failure when, hey, I didn't just wake up and become successful. There's way more failures than there most likely will ever be successes for all of us.
Yep.
But that's part of the game of growth.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the mental mindset of reframing losses as learning opportunities, as long as you do something about it instead of just let it sit. So,
Yes,
very
agree.
cool. Well,
Totally agree.
I guess I to jump to the sauce now again. I know you said it goes and tells a story, but what was that first sauce that you made?
It's called Granada. It's a Spanish, smoky Spanish Chipotle. So that chapter, it's called The Bet, and it's all about, on the bottle, there's a grenade, that first darker sauce there, a grenade, and it's all about feeling an internal intuition that you're built for something more, that there's something more there and you don't know what it is, but you got to go after it. So feeling that internal force.
Okay.
So,
I like
yeah.
it. And
Yeah.
now going through the sauces continued on the story, but now you've got because you didn't start out with the seasonings. How recent are the different pepper blends slash? I know you have that nice dessert seasoning as well.
Yeah, that's brand new. The seasonings are all within the year. And so our website, we are doing different images. We switched up the labels a little bit. But yeah, the seasonings do exceptionally well. Our Inferno dust is really popular. That's our take on kind of a tahine, but it's a hibiscus ghost pepper. So it's a little bit of a sweet and tangy, almost a tropical vibe, and it's like gorgeous too. But the last thing you taste is ghost pepper. So it's like lemon, lime forward, a little bit of coconut palm sugar, a little bit of pink Himalayan salt, hibiscus, which is like floral and tangy, and then the very last thing you get is the ghost pepper. So all of our blends are very like culinary driven and they're
Okay.
very layered. They're definitely not one dimensional. And all of our seasonings have no filler, so they're extremely potent.
That is super nice to hear. That's something that like obviously not everybody cares about, but if I have the option of having something that is, done without fillers, done without all the unnecessaries, like if you can make just the raw product that and make it sing, like that's
Yeah.
of course much more something that kind
Yeah.
of stands out. It edges out the competition, at least in my mind, and I'm sure there's definitely got to be some others out there as well. But
Yeah.
this one here, the dirty churro, I know whenever I was looking over what y'all had, it was. God, it just stood out on so many different use case applications, and it's so
It-
cool to see.
It's very interesting. So that one is a hand-sifted Vietnamese cinnamon light brown sugar. We use a black Hawaiian salt, a little bit of chipotle, raw espresso, organic cocoa, and vanilla. So that one is extremely layered with flavor. It's so surprising, but think coffee drinks, pancakes, French toast. I could dust it on my oatmeal.
Yep. Yep, that's exactly what I was thinking is like the applications in which of like to be able to use this because everyone always complains they're like, oh, there's not enough dessert options out there for like spicing up things or I want to spice up my coffee in the morning or what have you. It's like there's stuff out there. You just got to know how
Oh,
to look at it. And plus then there's items that may not be marketed as a dessert item, but if you understand the flavor profiles, it does work. So,
yeah, definitely. Yeah, that one's great for like baking any kind of like pie. Someone just did like a pumpkin loaf with it the other day and texted me and it's like, that's a good idea.
Yeah, no, that would be great. And I was already thinking of like some making like your own caramel popcorn at home and then dusting
Oh
that in
yeah,
it. Oh, that would be
yeah,
so good. Like
yeah.
almost like a kettle corn type of
Oh
popcorn.
yeah, totally. I actually use like all of our seasonings with popcorn. They're totally different vibes from each other. No flavor like crosses over in anything that we do. So,
Very
which
nice.
is nice. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and then you also have with the salsa side of things, you'll have like the give back aspect to it. So it's not just like, you know,
Yeah.
there's also a deeper meaning to like each purchase of salsa.
Have some at my desk today.
Nice.
Um, Absolutely. We have two flavors. These just launched. We have a garlic habanero carrot and we have an electric jalapeno. And yeah, both, any jar sold, a portion of the proceeds goes back to an organization in Ohio called Mary Haven, and they're the largest drug addiction rehabilitation nonprofit in the state. So I had the pleasure of meeting their CEO about 6 years ago when I started Sauce Boss Gang, and he attended an event and was just kind of shocked, like, what are you doing with hot sauce? And then we just developed a relationship. And so he's seen me grow and evolve. And so it's an honor to be able to give back and to meet some of the patients as the past few weeks of our launch has happened in the program and get to know them and see with my own eyes and hands of what's going on in that organization is just, I mean, it's seriously remarkable.
That's very cool to hear, and to know that like I'm big about community building and just like positive, because my mentality is if I am corrected with myself and then I do good outside to my immediate uh, friend group, if you will, or network group, and then it kind of just ripples and cascades out. And if everyone could do just that, things would be just drastically different here on
Yeah,
Earth as a whole. So,
yep, that's true. I have a saying that I always use: collaboration is the new competition, and I really believe that. So just like you're saying, the more people you can team up with and help each other, it's just, it always comes back.
absolutely. Very cool to see here. And is that, I guess, was that the drive to create the salsa line was to help benefit that group?
Yeah, I mean, we've had people ask us for salsa for years, and it honestly just wasn't something that I had planned on doing this year for sure.
Hmm.
Because we had all the seasonings. But then when I had discussions with the CEO, he was just like gung ho on this salsa vision. So I'm like, you know what? People have been asking for it. Let's give the people what they want. No time, I guess, better than now.
Yep.
Let's do it. So it took us about 9 months to develop the two flavors, and we had a bunch of taste tests with the organization and their team as well, just so they could explain the flavors and the program, and yeah, we've had really, really great reviews so far. So I'm very pleased.
Well, I definitely think that it's a great cause, great product. So think it will do very well as being able to strike while demand is high is definitely going to be beneficial, of course, when launching any product. But yeah, it's just ultimately as you've kind of started to, I guess, from a business standpoint, as you've started either from day one to now, or maybe kind of speak on to what you're doing now. Are y'all
Mhm.
mostly focused more on just the online side of things? Are you attending like any kind of local markets or any kind of trade shows?
Mhm. Yeah, we've done all of those in the past. We do a lot of local pop-ups, markets, events. In the past, Sauce Boss Gang actually threw large events hosted by us. I think as we grow and grow our team, we'll be able to support more, and that is really like my focus on growth. I've been very conscious to grow at a pace where I feel good about and that I can support, because if my partners don't succeed, I don't either. So,
Yep.
to answer your question, yes. It's just we're being more selective now on like what national events we would attend versus trying to just get everywhere. It's been a whole test over the last 6 years, seeing where we do well, how people respond in different states. Texas loves us, and we love Texas.
Well, it's definitely a good outlook and way to go about things. I mean, slow and steady always does win the race, even though it may not appear so right out the gate. You
Right.
set yourself up for success and you do healthy growth, and you
Mhm.
will achieve everything that you need and want.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, and also to be able to think about those others that you're working with, partnered with, and knowing that it's not just uh, egocentric driven me type of thing, and knowing that you're framing it in the focus of making sure that they're okay as well. That's
Mhm.
very important, because there's so many businesses, I feel like, that they'll see a flash of success, if you will, early on, and they
Mhm.
will mistake it for long-term
Yeah.
stability, and then
Hmm.
they'll overextend and then collapse afterwards.
Exactly. And I've been on that end too in my previous, endeavor. And so I'm very, like you said it great. It seemed, we'll be six this week, and it seems like I'm moving at a snail's pace. Um, but I assure you, I'm extremely calculated and thoughtful, and I like to test things because I'm after longevity. Like you said, I don't need to have the brand everywhere, and personally, I don't want it everywhere. I want it in the right places,
Hmm.
um, where it's reciprocal, where it's just the synergy is there, and that I can grow with those partners, and it makes sense.
Absolutely. I can't remember who said the quote, but it's a quote that I like live by. I actually have it written down in a few different places. And it's like, because everyone in today's society, everyone's so focused about, oh, let me become famous. Let me become TikTok famous. Let me become this, that famous. No, I don't want to be famous. I just want to be undeniable in the space. Like,
Right.
I just don't, love it or hate it. It's just, it is what it is. Like, that's the end goal, because the undeniability means that you showed up every single day. You've put in the work. You've done what you've needed to, and you know it is you just become that, right? And so
Yeah.
it's
And
a
I
great mindset and way to frame it.
Yeah, and I think that, like, to your point, society is all laser focused on getting rich overnight. That's
Hmm.
the, let's be famous. Let's make all this money overnight. And, for me, going back to the longevity piece, longevity equals experience. And experience is what allows you to pivot and navigate really challenging times. And so I'm very proud. At our growth that we've done over the last 6 years, because I started this company 3 months before COVID. I have I've battled COVID, cost of goods, inflation, supply chain, complete industry changes, workforce changes. If I would have had the other mentality to go fast and kind of let the chips fall, I probably wouldn't be here.
Yep. Yep.
So I feel extremely grateful and blessed. And although sometimes, things don't go as fast as I'd like, they're going exactly the way they're intended to go.
Yeah. No, that one thing that you had mentioned there, with like the different times and waves through everything, like the COVID cost of goods and all this stuff. Obviously now,
Yeah.
unfortunately, for those that are like in Canada or outside the US trying to sell here to their main, not main customer base, but like a large chunk of customer
Yeah.
base, and having problems. And same thing with like there's American
Mhm.
companies that are impacted by it, etc. But as you've kind of started to navigate those waters, have you found that there's a certain state or certain area that tends to do better, or the, I guess, majority of kind of like where your sales are kind of coming from?
You know what? That is really hard to say because I see all over, and was we do really well in Texas, but then also Texas is so large, so you have more people, so it's kind
Yeah.
of hard right off the bat to kind of say that. I do ship a lot to California as well. Same with New York, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm,
yeah. Well,
well, I don't
okay.
know because of just how many people are in each state. If I could like right now give you like data and quantify what state does better, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. No worries on being like absolutely
Way
critically
too
correct on it.
analytical.
Yeah. No, you're good. I also like to nerd out on that at times, and that's the reason why I always like tend to ask a question like that because I'm always curious to know like if one state is a little bit more dominant in purchases or what have you, or like coming on and having someone else that was from like a different country and then talking about, okay, well, I do sell a lot here locally, but XYZ country is actually a high percentage as well. And so it's always interesting to see kind of how that plays out. I've kind of seen it grow here as far as the overall
Mhm.
viewership base. And never in a million years did I think like there would be people all over the world watching, listening. I just always thought I was just gonna be talking to me and whoever the guest is, right? That's mentality of how I was thinking, and it's eye opening to kind of see all that. And I always like to like I said, learn about how other companies are kind of seeing their overall growth in different parts of the world or different states. So
Yeah. Yeah, we're not global yet. I definitely want to be, but again, that goes back to a whole like fulfillment logistics thing that I just don't find it necessary right this second to take that on.
yeah, yeah,
But if we're
absolutely.
like in the United States, I do see a lot of orders coming from Texas and California. And of course, we do business in the Midwest. We're Midwest, so but I would say those two.
Okay, okay. Well, I know that you have other uh other things that you're passionate about. Obviously, it sounds like the business side of more or less like the educational business side to really help boost,
Mhm.
motivate, empower others. Is there another area that you kind of really like to focus in on, or I guess a little bit more about that? Like, what are you doing to get tapped in? Because I know that you're doing things with it, but those that are watching, listening might not be familiar with it.
Yeah, well, currently I am finishing, I don't know if I should say this, but I'm going to say it. I'm finishing up my first book, so that will kind of like really dive into okay, so I say this about Sauce Boss Gang.
Hmm.
A lot of people when they talk about a business that they've created, they say, I've built this business. I've built this. Well, my perspective is Sauce Boss Gang built me. My
Hmm.
business built it rebuilt me. So my perspective on sharing my entrepreneurship and kind of advice, if you will, is from that perspective to kind of have more of a like a I don't know what I'm trying to say here, like from self doubt to self made kind of vibe.
Okay. Yeah.
Hmm.
And I mean that area is obviously, as we were talking about before, very beneficial. There's so many people out there struggling, trying to figure life out, trying to figure out like why they're stuck in a rut that they're stuck in.
Yeah,
And often people do try to seek out whether it be direct advice on like do X, Y, and Z, and then you're fine, to the point of even just trying to hear success and wins from others that have also gone through hardships. And so, yeah, I can see that being a great piece, motivational and helpful for so many others. So that sounds pretty
yeah.
cool.
I'm excited. I've been working on it for years, and we're very close. But yeah, it'll share my story as well as it's very raw and it's very real. It's very who I am. There's no I can fix you in these 10 steps. This is real life.
Yep.
This is, my life that I'm sharing and some stuff you probably would never have imagined that I've overcome. But then also, sharing actionable tips that I wish I knew before.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Sharing my experience so you don't have to mess up as much as I did. Saving
Yeah.
you time, hopefully.
No, that
But
that is
yeah.
that's perfect. I mean, being able to do that is going to be great, and being able to have that also, like, now you have a, I guess, a different avenue in which to connect with people. You'd mentioned before, like whether people found you because of your story or found you because of the sauce. It all kind of comes together. Same thing with this. It kind of helps tie things together as well, and continue to add value in every area. Because now it's like someone may find your sauce and be like, okay, well, I really want to know more about, who
Mhm.
makes Sauce Boss Gang, and then they're like, oh, okay, well, who's Nicole? And then they find, the book, or
Mhm.
they start to piece
Yeah.
together, like the bottles have, more meaning than just the hot sauce.
Yes, and so the book will really reveal all of that. And there's, from a branding standpoint, and I talk a lot about that in the book too. There's so many little things about Sauce Boss Gang that people always mention they love, but they don't really know what it means. So it's like little hidden gems that I also kind of bring to light. So one of them, so Sauce Boss Gang, that name, came from spiritually blessed and guided.
Okay.
So there's just like little things.
I like it. I definitely like that. The I was just grabbing this. So whenever I was doing the review for the liquid gold, I very much try to, or I aim to not try. I always aim to not read the ingredients. So the second I get something, like I may set it down, I may take a few pictures
Yeah,
of it or what have you, but I just, that's one of my things. I like to let my taste buds really kind of go about that. But
yeah,
whenever I
respect.
was reading the ingredients and I had the chance to, like, more in depth pay attention to the labeling, the intricate rose lips on this, I was like, that is a nice touch of detail within this visual pop here.
Mhm.
Are all of them done in that fashion, or is it just on the liquid gold?
No, all of our labels are like the black matte with the foiling that you're seeing.
Uh huh.
Now, the roses have a significant meaning because a rose is one of the most resilient flowers. So, through snowstorms, whatever, it'll come back and it'll bloom. And, it's just known for being one of the most beautiful but resilient flowers. So, because the liquid gold is my last sauce and that represents prosperity, you see the Sauce Boss Gang lips covered in the roses because the garden is now blooming from all the hard
Ah.
and dedication and just perseverance.
Okay. That's very cool. It's a nice little, like, Easter egg within the whole
Yeah.
entire thing. So, okay. Now I'm gonna have to start paying
Oh,
attention to all the others at
yeah.
a more deeper level to
You
try to figure it out.
you will see roses in every single one of our labels though, because that's just we carry that through.
Okay. All right. I like it. I definitely, uh, one of the things that I enjoy the most is being able to, whether they're real puzzles or fake puzzles, if you will. It's like, how do these items all fit together, and what is it really trying to tell me here? So
Right.
there's oftentimes I'll look at something, and so, big into like numbers and like kind of
Mhm.
numerology type of stuff as well. So I'll
Hey,
I'll kind of nerd out on that at times, and yeah, a lot of it is, probably not as sophisticated or telling as I think things are, because oftentimes I'll just look too far in advance or too far into something than it needed to be. But yeah, it is what it is.
I don't know. The Sauce Boss Gang might be for you because when you speak about numerology, the book title breaks down to a specific number.
Oh, very cool. Well, then I will. It inherently, I tend to do that anyways, but I will definitely pay extra attention to that. So that's super cool. The I guess the inspiration though for your choices of the pairings within the sauces,
Mhm.
how has that kind of helped formulate? Is that more focused on like food, or is that on your own personal what you would like to see in the market?
Yeah, well, I'd say this. I originally always start by doing whatever I create market research on the industry, on the item, on trends, next 5 years, whatever, in a bunch of different companies as well, not just the hot sauce industry, because I can take a flavor like
Hmm.
coffee is booming right now, and it's going to continue, and I can put it in a seasoning. So I'm really into industry trends as a whole in different categories and consumer consumer behavior. What are they buying? Because basically that'll just tell you what people want.
Yeah.
And so I just go straight there, but then we make it more culinary driven. So we always put our, weird flavor profile or, just a little bit eccentric flavor profile on it.
Yeah, and I love those slight tweaks and changes to the
Mhm.
overall expectations.
Right.
Finding fun, interesting, playful ingredients that you don't commonly see utilized in, say, a sauce or a powder or what have you. It
Right.
just it brings, yeah, it kind of breaks up the monotony of the day to
Mhm.
days in that sense. So it's always
Yeah.
fun. Now, not no shade to those that stay kind of in that mold, because like ultimately that is the road that paved to get to where we are today, and the spice, capsaicin as a whole side of the food industry and beverage industry as a whole is
Hmm.
just booming, and
Oh yeah.
that is growing so much so that hopefully we'll start seeing it outpace other condiments, like your ketchups and your mustards and all these
Hmm.
other things. And
Yeah.
so I think as adoption grows, the ability and the need and desire for different variations, different
Hmm.
fun, creative ways are going to be extremely important on that road forward.
I agree with you. And our brand really started since we did get our product 3 months before COVID. We actually partnered with restaurants, is really how we got our start. And we would do pairings with chefs. So we would use our sauces in dishes, drinks, and desserts. And so that's why all of our flavors are very culinary driven. They're not flat, they're not one dimensional. They're always going to be unique and very like full body flavor, kind of take your taste buds on a journey. That's who we are by, in the story of the brand, but then also in the story of the actual flavor profiles.
Yeah. Yes, definitely can see just off of liquid gold alone, I can see kind of the journey that you're taking through. I mean, it was interesting and eye-opening. I love the way that it kind of cascaded with it initially, that sweetness, then the fruitiness, then the savoriness, and then the sweetness coming back in as that final note. And at the time, because as I was breaking it down, trying to figure it out, I was like, there's
Yeah.
a little bit of a herby note of some sort. I can't tell what it is. And then, of course, if I once again, because I try not to pay attention of it, if I would have seen the elderflower and that vanilla aspect, that would have
Hmm.
lined up perfectly with that note that I was picking up. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I mean, it is, you're taking on the journey. You're walking through that experience on
Mhm.
many different levels, and it's very cool. It's like playing on multi dimensions all at once within your own like taste, aroma, all the different journeys, the different flavor notes within that taste. It's very cool.
Yeah, thanks. And I would say all of our sauces are like that. I can't tell you how many times people taste a sauce and they're expecting one thing. They're like, oh, wait, it's not. Oh, wait, oh, it's still changing. It's still going. And so our sauces are just like that. And it's just what I like about making product like that.
Yeah, yeah, very cool. As far as I know, you just released quite a few products, but as far as I guess the next 5 years, where are you starting to gear towards, look towards as far as growth for Sauce Boss Gang?
Yeah, I think right now I'm focused on, again, just finding the right places nationally that we want to partner with to bring more convenience to the customer and we'll be bringing back merch here soon as well. So another thing is all of our hot sauce labels are designed, or all of our designs are by female independent artists. So we have limited merch drops, and people have been waiting, but we have a good one coming up. So I would just say I really just want to stay focused on what we have, but making it available in the places that make sense, and then probably doing more kind of restaurant driven. Because we have complete control over our product, we can pack in really whatever size we want. So we're working on that aspect as well.
Okay.
Service. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's a huge area to get into, and obviously, you know for a fact they're going to be utilizing sauce at a at least somewhat consistent basis. Like there's at
Right.
least their average projections. They may go
Hmm.
through it faster,
Yep.
but yeah, it's definitely a nice avenue to go into. I feel like so many different makers end up getting focused in on how can I get into big box store, and
Hmm.
like that's their end goal, which is fine. Everyone's got their own path and trajectory, but I think that there's still avenues that are being overlooked, very much like that, or just fun and creative ways to kind of get out there. I mean, one that I always like hint at or talked about, which is like corporate gifting. Just because of coming from the corporate world, I know how often not only internal corporate gifts are given, but if you're in an industry like I was in the financial sector, it was like you have client gifts that you could give out. And
Mm.
obviously there's a dollar amount and et cetera, and all this other stuff that you have to take into consideration. But that is also another very big area that I don't feel like gets utilized as much as it could.
I'd agree with you on that. Yeah, I really believe in that avenue, corporate gifting for sure. We've had a lot of support from Chase Bank, and so yeah, there's just so much. But yes, I agree. Corporate gifting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, it sparked that in my head. This is like some other thing that I always talk about, but whenever talking with other sauce makers about different avenues that they might not have explored, and it's
Yeah,
just like okay,
no, I think
but
it's
I mean, so many are obviously coming from there. There's a lot that come from either a culinary background or something that may not be. Not everyone always is immersed in that corporate side to understand kind of like that aspect. So it
absolutely,
makes sense why it wouldn't be
and it's
top of mind.
a totally different world.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
You either love it or you hate it, and I had my share and decided to break out on my own, and
good
now
for
only person I can get mad at is myself. So, uh,
right. I get myself a lot though. So
yeah,
it's just a different kind of vibe when you exit the responsibility like to others on that level, and then having that responsibility to yourself. A lot of people think, oh, it's easy. You work for yourself. You make your own schedule. Da, 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 da. Like I work 10 million times harder and more than I ever did working for somebody else.
yep. Wor-
Um, yeah.
Working for somebody else is like, you kind of know expectations, times,
Mm.
when you need to be there, how often. When you're working for yourself, it's like, all right, well, I got all these things going on in life. I got family, I got my own personal things, I got, obviously the business to keep going. And like, how do I innovate for this? And so next thing you know, it's like 24-hour day. And it's like, well, I need 36 hours in this 24-hour day. How am I going to cram this in here?
The
So,
wild ride, for
yeah.
sure. I haven't figured it out, so if you figure it out, let me know.
Oh yeah, I feel like I was actually talking about this last night with another friend that owns a business as well. About it's this strange teeter-totter effect. It's like you think you have it figured out, but then the next thing you know, it's somebody jumps off the other end of the teeter-totter, and then you're back down trying to figure it all back out again. So
That is so true. Yeah, you think you have it all figured out, and then you're like, wow, I don't know anything. Like I'm out here, I don't know shit. I don't know anything. Like help me. Somebody
yep.
help me. That's how I feel probably 50 times a week.
Yeah, but I mean that's not a bad place to be, and that's a
Right.
great place to be because that forces you, it invokes you to draw upon, okay, how do I solve? And so
Exactly.
you
But
just,
see, that's where that longevity and experience comes in, because if you don't have that, or like new entrepreneurs, that can be terrifying. Because I remember how stressed and terrified I would be, in the beginning. And now I'm like, listen, it's just another day,
yep.
another game, and we're gonna do what we can and pivot where we can, and we just gotta keep it moving.
Yep, much like our overall TRPV1 receptors that tell us that we are inflicting this capsaicin into our bodies, causing this idea of a being on fire.
Right.
Much like that gets seasoned, we also get seasoned to the grind
Oh,
of creating the business. So
yep. Love
very,
it.
very cool. Okay, well, I do have a very fun game plan, so let me go ahead and jump on over to that. And I think the conversation of creation will be a fun one for this.
Okay.
All right, so here we go. We have a very fun game of Keep Five, Cut Five. Now, for all those that are just audio only listening, I will go ahead and read these off one by one with their perspective numbers. And the best way that this goes about is you would just select either a keep or a cut first, and then you just alternate until we have the board taken care of here. So, ingredient number 1 is honey. Ingredient number 2 is apple cider vinegar. Ingredient number 3 is cilantro. 4 is tomatoes. 5 is just represent fruit in general. 6 is balsamic vinegar. 7 is habaneros. 8 is black garlic. And then
Hmm.
9, ginger. 10 is saffron. So,
Wow.
what would you like to keep and what would you like to cut? I thought I
Mm.
had 2 peppers on there, but I guess I only left 1.
I definitely want to keep the habanero
All right.
for sure. Um, I would say the fruit too.
All right. What would you like to cut?
Cut. I'm gonna cut the tomato.
All right. Felt like that was an easy throwaway there. I deliberately try to give at least 1 or 2 easy removals to this
Yeah,
list.
I think I. So am I removing now?
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead and cut 1 more, and then we can go to either a keep or a cut.
I would do a. I'm gonna remove the saffron,
All right.
and
Boom.
I'm going to keep the honey. Wait, I already said that, right? Or did I
No, no.
not?
You said you said the habaneros a second ago.
Oh, habanero. Okay. Um, I'm actually going to cut the black garlic, which I love black garlic, but I'm cutting it.
Yep. It's definitely a great one, but it's also one that has been slowly I wouldn't say overused because I don't want to like not ever see it again, but it's been heavily used. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, definitely keeping the ginger
Okay.
and keeping the apple cider vinegar.
All right. Well,
I'm gonna
then I guess the last 2 cuts are
yeah,
going to be the balsamic and the cilantro.
yeah.
Bang boom. There we go. All right. Well, I can kind of see it here. I'm trying to what fruit were you thinking?
Dragon fruit, actually.
Okay. Okay.
I was thinking like a habanero, dragon fruit, ginger, honey with the apple cider vinegar kind of vibe, habanero.
Well, that's very interesting that you specifically chose dragon fruit because I removed dragon fruit going, this is too specific for this because I've put it on a few other games before and it always gets overlooked. It's always like,
Oh,
eh.
okay. I
So
love dragon, so that could be something in the future. But yeah, dragon fruit, gingery, habanero,
I like it.
sweet. I feel like it could work.
Oh yeah. I could definitely see that. I could definitely see that panning out and working out very well. But
Yeah,
that was keep 5, cut 5. What did you think?
I like it. Yeah, get your creative juices flowing. Now, don't even like follow up with that sauce though, because I'm not making.
Yeah, yeah.
I
No,
know.
no, all for fun, all a way to kind of have a mental reset, a mental refresh, if you will, after an interview, to be able to have a little bit of a fun, creative thought going in. Because the next part is really the nugget of knowledge. This is something that you think would be greatly beneficial for those individuals that are maybe either starting out or they have hit kind of a plateau and feel discouraged in order to like continue.
Mhm. Um, I always say this actually is go back to the reason you started, because that will identify your purpose. And it's very easy to lose our purpose, but when we can reconnect with that, I think that's where that passion and that momentum starts coming back in. And knowing what you're working so hard for to overcome these failures or setbacks or challenges, just remembering why. I mean, I have to remind
Absolutely.
myself all the time, but I say that to people all the time as well. Why'd you start? Did you think it was going to be easy? I know you didn't think it was going to be easy. You might not have thought it was going to be this hard. And I
Yep.
stand on that side as well. But, why did you start?
Yeah, no, very well said. I often catch myself because being creative, always envisioning and wanting to craft and push forward with just different creative outlets in general. It causes me to inherently want to always be so forward thinking that
Hmm.
I oftentimes do end up, as you were saying, looking down, going, man, I haven't done anything. I haven't gone anywhere. Like, what's going on? I just spent all this time and effort and everything, and it was for what? And then I have to like stop,
Yeah.
center myself back down, and actually go, okay, well, I did actually achieve this, this, and this, and think
Yeah.
through the pitfalls to kind of get back. And yes, very much holding true to that core memory of why in the first place. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's when also I tend to not gravitate to focus on, and I need to
Yeah.
do more of. So, very great nugget of knowledge there.
Thanks. Yeah. And I would also say, just real quick, too, is act on your highest passion. So, say you have a list of like 55 things to do, right? Of course, some have priority levels, but I think it's very important to act on your highest passion, especially when you're in a rut like that. Because if it's like, oh, do accounting or this, that, and the other that we're dreading, maybe just don't start there today. Take a look at that list and what's going to be fun. Like, what
Hmm.
is going to actually ignite your spark again, and act on that with as much passion as you can. And I guarantee that purpose will start flowing back in. And then the accounting and all the other stuff we got to do won't seem so terrible.
Absolutely. Very well said. Okay, okay. Well, the next part here, the hot seat nomination. So, this is someone that you think would make a great guest for the show.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I would say Mike Laviette, and he's my buddy in our facility. So
Okay.
he owns a brand called Flavor and Fire, but why he would be really great is I'm sure you're familiar with John Hart and
Hmm.
Cage. So that was his mentor. So he actually absorbed the Flavor and Fire brand from the godfather of hot sauce. So, and they have so many crazy great stories. So I'll
Very
definitely
cool.
be with him.
All right. Well, look forward to scheduling a time and having him come on the podcast. And this last bit here is greatly beneficial, once again, for those that are just audio only listening. Where can they
Mhm.
find you? How can they find you? And any kind of announcements that you might want them to know. This is a great opportunity for that.
Awesome. Yes, you can shop our full collection at saucebossgang.com. And I would just say make sure to check out the salsas. Our Heat with Heart program gives back to nonprofit organizations with every product that we develop. But saucebossgang.com, and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn at saucebossgang.
Well, Nicole, thank you so much for coming on. It has been an absolute pleasure having you on here. Obviously, still so much more we can dive into, whether we're speaking about the business side of things or the creative side. So I would love to have you back on and dive a little bit deeper.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me. Thank you for your time. This has been great.
Nicole, thank you so much for coming on. It has been an absolute pleasure having you on the podcast here tonight. If you want to keep up with Sauce Boss Gang, I'll have all the direct links down below for her, as well as a link to the main site, so you can check out the full lineup of amazing products from Sauce Boss Gang, much like the ones we had talked about. The salsas also being able to help benefit a nonprofit. So definitely, if that is something that's tugging at your heartstrings and you want to grab some salsa and be able to enjoy the overall burn, as well as being able to help out another organization, that is a great avenue there. Tons of great sauces, and definitely that dessert churro powder sounds amazing. So looking forward to it. I'll have a direct link down below as well for the sauce that was featured here tonight on Hot or Not. So if you were interested in that, head on over there, grab that. Want to give a quick shout out. Thank you so much, everyone that has just either recently found the podcast or rocking and rolling since day one. Thank y'all so much, Swear Nation, for everything that y'all do, and continue to share this out with other like-minded chili heads or individuals that are curious about the world of hot. Also, if you're on a platform that allows for a rating and review of the overall podcast, please go ahead, send on over a 5-star review. That helps the algorithm get us in front of others so that we can continue to grow the community here. Also, this weekend, if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, if you're in Texas in general, there is the North Texas Hot Sauce Fest. There is roughly about 40 different Texas hot sauce vendors that will be there at Martin House Brewing. So come on out October 18th, 11 a.m., have some fun, and get yourself some hot sauce. There's going to be fun, family-friendly events as well, so bring on the family. Don't have to leave them at home. Everyone can jump in, find something they enjoy, and have a great time. Also, there is the Dallas Belt Match October 25th coming up around the corner. So if you're going to be wanting to watch or participate in that, there's also a wing competition that will be happening as well. So sign up for that. Also wanted to say that we have available sponsorship opportunities open right now. So if you're looking to sponsor the podcast, reach out on socials, reach out on via the website, and we will get that process started. Want to give a quick shout out for our current sponsors, podvision.io. If you're looking to grow your brand, start your brand, you've hit a bump in the road, you're trying to figure things out, highly recommend checking out podvision.io for all of those needs, as well as webdx.one. If you have an online site, maybe you had a guy at one point, you lost contact with him, or maybe you just never got around to building one. Highly recommend checking out webdx.one for all of those needs. They best of all, get you looking great online while you get to focus on what you do best. I'm Brandon Swear, and from everything from the world of hot, this has been The Swear Word.